Welcome all of you. In my earlier presentation, we had studied about personality, its meaning and concept, and various factors influencing personality. It was pointed out that personality is not just anybody's external appearance, it is a set of enduring characteristics that describes an individual's behavior. Personality is generally defined in terms of traits. Personality traits are distinguishing qualities possessed by the individual. So, assessment of personality is actually assessing those traits which define an individual. So, here in this presentation, we will be studying about personality assessment, highlighting the subjective techniques of assessment. Points to be covered here are personality assessment. What do we mean by personality assessment? Why do we actually require to assess personalities? What are the different techniques of personality assessment? And we will just highlight the major techniques. We will just categorize them and classify them. And but we will be studying about the details of subjective techniques in further slides, and we will also be discussing about some important subjective techniques. Now let's begin with the question, what is the aim of personality assessment? Why do we assess personalities? It is just to understand individuals' behavior as well as to compare individuals from different cultural background, from different socioeconomic background. It aims at describing persons in terms of traits, feelings, emotional status, motivation level, attitude, etc. Personality assessment involves describing personal characteristics in quantitative form so that we can conclude at some point. There is a diversity of approaches to personality assessment. Are numerous approaches through which we can assess personalities, and in further slides we will be discussing about them. Personality assessment techniques can be categorized under three heads. These are subjective techniques, objective techniques, and projective techniques. Under each techniques, there are a number of methods mentioned, and we will be discussing in this presentation just the subjective techniques of personality assessment. Now, what are subjective techniques? Subjective techniques are those techniques which are at times influenced by personal feelings and emotions while representing facts. These are methods in which an individual is free to disclose his ideas on the subject. Assessment is based on what the subject himself feels about his traits, attitudes, and experiences. Here, full freedom is given to the subject to express himself, and accordingly, he is reported about his personality. Now, here are some important subjective techniques mentioned. These are interview method, observation method, case history, and autobiography. In further slides, we will be discussing about them along with their merits and limitations. Interview method. Interview is a face-to-face condition between the interviewer and the respondent to obtain information related to him with minimum bias. Usually, the interviewer tries to record the information, record the responses with the minimum bias. Interview may be standardized or non-standardized. Standardized interviews are in which the nature of questions, the order, language is uniform, scoring method is predetermined. So these are also called structured interview or standardized interview, whereas there are other type of interviews which are known as non-standardized, in which there is informal setting and questions are unstructured, and the order, the language, and the nature all depends on the interviewer's will. Interviewer, according to his will and according to his situation, may change the nature of question, the order of question, at times the language of questions. So it is done in very informal setting. Now, before conducting an interview, the interviewer tries to build up a rapport with the respondent so that he may feel confident to answer all his questions. So this is very important in case of interview methods to build a relationship, a rapport with the respondent so that he may respond, he may feel confident that the information which he is providing will be secured. Merits of interview method. These are certain advantages of the method as the desired information by the investigator can be obtained readily and quickly. Interview method is an easy and quick method of receiving information from the subject. Assessment of both verbal and non-verbal behavior. Through interview, we can assess both his verbal expressions as well as his gestures, his facial expressions, his sentence construction, and they all help in providing a holistic picture of the person. It is beneficial in assessing illiterates. Illiterates who cannot express themselves in writing can express orally and state their responses. It is also useful in assessing young children and abnormal children who need special care and attention so that responses can be extracted from them. Uh, Apart from this, there is flexibility in questioning. The interviewer, as per the situation, may mold his questions, may mold the nature of question or the form of question in order to assess a person. Demerits of interview method. There is dependability on verbal responses. At times, the information provided by the respondent may not be true, so there's too much dependence on verbal responses. It is time taking. Usually, the interviews takes place in one-to-one situation. If the number of candidates are too many, it may take long time to be interviewed. Apart from this, there are differences in interviewers' assessment. Different people interviewing the same person may differ in their opinion. They may interpret the same answers in different way. Recording information is another limitation of the interview method. When the respondent is not very much clear with his feelings and emotions, in such cases, recording of information becomes difficult. Observation is another important subjective technique of personality assessment. It aims to capture and study human behavior in real life. It involves watching and listening to the behavior of a person over time without controlling the conditions. The investigator analytically interprets and records the responses without being biased, without letting his own views interfere and manipulate the result. Types of observation. Observation can be classified on different bases. On the basis of procedure, there is systematic observation and unsystematic observation. Systematic observation is one in which the procedure is explicit and the objectives are predefined. For example, observing children's behavior to befriend themselves in classroom situation. In unsystematic situation, in unsystematic observation, it is casual observation without any set objectives. For example, an investigator observing a situation at railway station, uh, observing how people behave in a public place. On the basis of investigator's role, there is participant observation and non-participant observation. In participant observation, the investigator actively participates with activities of the group to be observed. He may be the member of the group to be studied and may observe its behavior with certain objectives pre-decided. When the identity of the participant observer is not known to the group member, it is known as disguised observation. When all the group members are aware that an observer is amongst them, it is called undisguised observation. Non-participant observation is one in which the investigator observes without being the member of the group. Such observations are usually structured, and the investigator pre-plans about the setting and conditions of the observation. Coming to the merits of observation method, through observation, direct and first-hand information is received as it occurs. It provides for assessment of non-verbal behavior as well. Apart from verbal behavior, whatever the people are discussing and how they are expressing themselves, everything is recorded in observation. It occurs in real life setting, so the responses provided are natural. It provides for extensive and meaningful information of human behavior, and it is indispensable for studying children, crippled and mentally and physically handicapped people. Limitations of observation method: lack of competent observer. If the observer lacks clarity of the objectives to be studied, if he is not skilled enough to understand human relationship, it may result in losing its sense. It is time consuming and promotes inactivity. A lot of time is to be devoted to study the objectives extensively, which result in inactivity of the investigator. Lack of agreement among observers. At times, when more observers are present, they may differ in their opinion. There is possibility of distortion in data. Since the observer participates in the activities of the group, he may be overpowered by human weaknesses, which may result in lowering the reliability and validity of observation. Another subjective method of assessing personality is the case study. It is a way of organizing data for the purpose of viewing social reality. In case study, we examine unit as a whole, whether it is an individual, a community, a peer group, a society, neighborhood, etc. The unit as a whole is studied. Purpose is to understand the life cycle of a unit. So it is a longitudinal study, and all the factors influencing the life cycle of a unit are studied. It involves careful and deep analysis of the factors that influence growth and development. In case study, data is collected through observation, questionnaire, interviews, analysis of data, recorded data. So different techniques are used for collecting data in case study in order to understand the unit which is to be studied as a whole. Advantages of case study: it is an intensive study. All the factors influencing the life history of the unit is studied intensively. In-depth analysis of the unit is done to provide enough data to formulate hypotheses for further studies, and it involves careful examination of relevant data so that one may not lose hold of any significant point in the history of the unit. The results provided by case study, we can say, are generally valid in the sense that the data is collected from various sources through various means, and it is good for studying backward children, problem child, and mentally deficient children. Limitations of the case study: it is uneconomical both from the point of time and money. It as it is a longitudinal study and studies different factors influencing the growth and development of the unit from time to time. So it involves a lot of money and time. At times, it is influenced by subjective bias of the investigator, as the investigator, while studying the unit, may be overpowered by human weakness. There is post hoc fallacy, which means that many times that the factors which are simply associated with the unit may be thought of as the cause of the situation, while the effect may be the result of certain other factors. So there may be post hoc policy serving as a limitation, and it requires extensive theoretical knowledge and higher order skills on the part of the investigator to carry on the case study. Autobiography is yet another method of assessing personality, and It involves a person to write his own history, expressing his ideas and experiences in life, and on the basis of the information provided by the respondent, his personality is assessed. There are certain merits of this method. The response provided is direct, as the responses are provided by the person himself on the basis of his own experiences. Data and events are analyzed and compared to reach the conclusion. Whatever the person has written, whatever experiences he has shared through his autobiography may be analyzed and compared so that certain conclusions may be reached. The context explains and justify the findings. Whatever context has been expressed by the respondent may explain and justify the findings we reach in autobiographies. But there are certain limitations of this method also. It is doubtful that the description provided by the respondent is true to what extent. At times, the respondent may give socially approved responses and he may write his experiences in very much socially approved manner. So we cannot decide whether the information provided by him is true or not. And the second limitation, to what extent the respondent has been able to recall and write about the events happened in the past is again a question. Many a times we forget many things and we just remember a few things. So on the basis of those responses, can is it right to assess his personality? So now we have finished with discussing important subjective techniques of personality assessment. Let's have a recap of them. Interview, which is face-to-face interaction, and through which personality is analyzed. It may be structured, in which the questions are pre-decided, the order is pre-decided, the language is pre-decided. On the other hand, there are unstructured interviews. Observation, maybe participant observation, non-participant observation, maybe systematic or unsystematic. Next was case study, which is in-depth analysis of the unit being studied, and the other was autobiography, which is a written record of one's own experiences. So these were the subjective techniques of personality assessment. In further videos, we will be discussing about objective techniques and projective techniques of personality assessment. Thank you.